So we got a number of different things, because we also have the big news, which I think everyone should just give a small
insert
round
the
of
DJ
applause.
horn.
Insert the round of applause. We have Ryan Reed has purchased his first boat.
They said he wouldn't do it. They said it would
yeah.
never happen.
Well, I got to be honest. It's been very stressful the last couple of days over here.
It doesn't get any better.
I am freaking out currently. I told Deanna, I walked in the door tonight and I said, I think it finally hit me. Like after pulling into my driveway in the back and seeing the boat sitting there, I'm like, man, I can't believe this is actually a reality right now. But
What is up, Jens guys? Welcome back to another episode of Fishing PA with Ryan Reed. Now guys, as you can see here, I'm actually sitting outside in what appears to be a makeshift shelter in what appears to be an Alumacraft boat. So I put a post out there last October that essentially, I was able to purchase my first boat, which I'm super pumped about. I'm just kind of super excited. I've been working on it over here the last couple of months. We've had some warm days through, January and February, and it's just been kind of a fun project getting set up and ready to go for the season. So I thought what I would do in this episode is kind of show you guys what I have going on here with this Alumacraft, show you some of the tools that I've picked up to this point, just kind of give you a walkthrough of the boat. This isn't a giant Lund or a giant Ranger. This is a very small 16.5 foot Alumacraft Lunker 165, but it's mine, and I couldn't be more pleased with how it's turning out. So I thought I would just kind of show you guys what I've been working on, show you guys the boat a little bit, get a feel for what I'm going to be fishing in this year. I'm really looking forward to doing some video and kind of posting some different projects on YouTube as far as, getting back to my roots of walleye fishing and maybe doing a little bit of bass fishing and primarily continuing to focus on muskies. That is my true passion, is muskie fishing. So I don't know, hopefully this will be a fun little video. Can kind of show you guys what I'm working with here, show you where I'm going with it, and hopefully this makes sense. So yeah, let's go ahead and start with a walk around of the boat. Now here in the great state of Pennsylvania, we have horsepower restrictions. And with those horsepower restrictions, a lot of our reservoirs that are in state parks that have muskies in them are restricted to 20 horse. So when I was looking for a boat, I essentially wanted to find a Yamaha motor, just my preference here. And I really wanted a 20 horse. So that's what I ended up here. I've got the 20 horse Yamaha 4-stroke. This is a great motor, and I'm really excited about it because, kind of looking at, once I get the cowling off, man, it's kind of hard to do one-handed there. All right, so taking a look at the motor, you guys notice she's fairly clean, looking pretty good for the most part. We did get her winterized successfully, so I was pumped about that. So yeah, that's what I'm working with here. This is going to be my primary motor. I only got the one. This is going to do all the trolling, and we're going to cast with this bad boy. So I'm really looking forward to that aspect of it. So that's kind of what I'm working with here as far as the motor goes. Now, moving around the boat here, we're going to go this way. We'll come back around. I did have to get some new straps here. Try to show you guys this. I ended up with the Rhino. They're like Rhino USA straps. The straps that came with the boat, they actually broke on the way home. So one of those things I had to upgrade and just get some new straps. I was really hoping to get some boat buckles. That's probably in the future here at some point. So looking forward to that. Got my Muskie Hunks sticker right there for our Muskie Hunks podcast. And as we work around the side of the boat, it's a little tight here in the tent, but you guys can get the gist of this. Alumacraft Lunker 165. So now I just want to kind of show you guys this angle of the front of the boat here. You can see it's a side console. We've got 2 seats. It's the beam on this boat is approximately 76 inches. But with that said, I think this is perfect for 2 people. And there's plenty of room to troll and cast on this bad boy. One of the things I had to do was upgrade the letters, as you guys know. This is what I did. Deanna, my wife, was able to help me with this. So we used our Cricut, and we were able to essentially print out these letters on the Cricut. And I got my boat registration stickers on there, as well as my Team Leopardi's Leo Lure sticker. You guys know I run a ton of Leos. Todd is such a great dude, great family. They make great products for catching fish, and they're just really well known. He's been making lures since like 1989, so you know, super pumped to be a part of Team Leo. If you guys are fishing for muskies, Team Leo Lures, man, go out to his website, leolures.com. Seriously, you will not be disappointed. They catch a ton of fish throughout the year, and they're really user-friendly too. When you talk about the lure depths, you know, you're getting a 5-to-1 on the Mojos, a little deeper for the Magnums. He's got plenty of jerk baits for casting. He's got all kinds of lures, so really, again, built to catch fish. Okay, so a couple things I did on the trailer here, just really quick. When I bought the boat, this little rubber piece here was all chewed up, so we got the replacement. We got that in there. That wasn't a big deal. You know, a bolt that slides out, slides in, and you're good. I also had to upgrade the wheel on the trailer tongue jack. The wheel was all chewed up, and from the gravel, if you guys can see here, I just kind of laid some gravel down. That was getting chewed up, so I got one of those like mats from like Harbor Freight, and I upgraded the wheel on that, and it's a 2,500 pound wheel or 1,500 pound wheel, and it's on the 1,000 pound trailer jack, so kind of curious to see how that goes. But one other thing I had to do here was, if you can see this, the actual winch was like back here, and I had to slide that up probably like 6 inches or so, just to get this a little bit further up on the actual trailer, because the boat wasn't sitting on the bunks correctly. So that's what I did. That was just a couple little minor maintenance things I did, and I used YouTube for a lot of that, and I was able to get that done pretty quickly. Not a big deal there at all, but you know, those are things that you have to look at whenever you buy a boat that's used, and kind of understand a couple of those things. And that was one of the items that the guy had helped me winterize the boat had mentioned, was to move that up 6 inches or so, just to get that boat to sit better on the trailer. And really, again, just to kind of show you guys this, like if you can see that now, the boat's actually sitting on the bunk as opposed to being 6 inches off of the bunk. That's not something that I was really interested in doing, but I figured just to kind of save the bottom of the boat a little bit, probably should sit on there better, so that's why we did that. Kind of looking at this motor, I gotta send a little shout out here to my guy Big O's Bucktails, Mr. Owen Seaman. Owen's a great dude. He's making bucktails out of the state of Pennsylvania. He actually helped me get this trolling motor. This is his old power drive. He upgraded to a Tarova, so the plan for this year is to just start with the power drive and see how it works. You know, this comes with a foot pedal, which I'll show you guys in a little bit. My buddy Dan Lutton, shout out to Dan, helped me get this bad boy mounted last week. You can see it's kind of tight there, but we were able to get it to drop, so it's locked into place. I've got to tighten that up and get it wired in, which I'll show you guys here in a little bit. But as far as working around the boat, one of the things I wanted to do with this boat is, I troll a lot. So what I wanted to do was get some rod holders, vertical rod holders, to essentially get the rods off the floor. You know, whenever we untarp the boat at the ramp and we're setting up, I want to get the rods in the holders out of the way so nobody's tripping. There's not a lot of space in this boat, but you know, with that said, like, this is going to allow me to do that. So I got some of these rod holders off of Amazon, and they actually came with a couple of brackets. However, I'm not real good with math and power tools, so I ended up not using the brackets, and we drilled straight into the console with these. You can tell they're a little bit crooked, but that's, you know, that's Ryan Reed style. I do everything mediocrely at best, but you know, these are going to serve the purpose. We're going to get the rods off the floor. We're going to be able to rack them there, and that's going to work out really well, just to prevent people from tripping. So got the windshield on the console. You guys know that it wouldn't be a Fishing PA with Ryan Reed boat without stickers. So again, shout out to Todd Leopardi, Team Rhino Outdoors, Three Rivers of Muskies Inc., Jake Lactovic, my boy Jake, and Bang & Bottom Outfitters. And you guys know I use Trophy Time Leader, Steve Gold. Those are all amazing products. Team Rhino has a lot of awesome products on their site, but you know, that's just kind of a fun thing I've been doing is with the stickers. So as we work around the boat here, I gotta mess with the tarp. One of the things you guys are gonna notice is this track system, right? So a lot of the muskie guys out there, they'll tell you that Trax is probably one of the industry standards. There's a lot of good companies that make track like Muddy Creek and some of these other ones. But, you know, as far as the Trax goes, I was kind of lucky with this because the guy that owned the boat, super awesome dude out of West Virginia, by the way. Really good guy. I really enjoyed working with him to get this boat bought, but he actually had the track already on here. And if you guys look at this, he drilled right into the gunnel. So these pieces of track on both sides, they're not going anywhere. And I'll show you guys what I'm going to do with these here in a little bit, because we've got some rod holders and stuff I'm still working on that's really going to help me this year, particularly with trolling. But we're just going to work around here. So one of the things that I've done recently is that bad boy right there. So this boat did not have any type of mounting plate for the transducer. So I was able to do that really quick. Just went out online, like Bass Pro Shop. They have these for like, you know, 10, 11, 15 bucks, whatever they are. And that kind of allows you to drill less holes into the boat. Now, you know, me being relatively new at this, I'm not sure how this is going to work out, but we drilled 2 holes. We got that sealed with some really good silicone, and I was able to put the transducer on, which is a Helix 10 transducer, side imaging. We'll see how it goes. I tried to follow a video from Team Rhino or Backlash, one of the two. Matt Seifert did one for Jeff explaining how to mount these. Really useful video. It was really awesome. I tried my best to follow that. You guys can see that the block looks a little crooked, but when you're looking at the boat, it's kind of slanting down towards the center of the boat. So as long as you don't drill into the chines, you're good. So hopefully I did that right and won't have to make any adjustments there. But looking at this, you know, all of the cabling and stuff for the motor comes around, and I was able to run that transducer cable right through the existing cable management in the side of the boat. So again, you know, pretty simplistic setup here, but you know, I think it's gonna work pretty nice for us. So just kind of looking into the boat here, I'm gonna get up inside and show you guys what I got going on in here. All right, we're up in the boat. So one of the cool things here is I got the gas tank, which actually sits somewhere in the dead center of the boat here. So it's not a gas can hanging out here, but underneath, you know, we've got pretty much everything going on as far as the cabling for the motor. The battery, you know, the starting battery sits there on the battery block, and I've got my anchor and stuff tucked away. One of the cool things with this boat actually is an aerator. So this was a built-in onboard aerator. So if you have like a bait bucket or something that you want to keep some minnows alive, you can run some air to it and it'll actually work out good. That button's on the console, so that's pretty cool. I'm excited about that. Might do that with my dad. Kind of looking over here, show you guys my live well. Not a super big live well, but I gotta clean that out a little. You know, we might get some walleyes, crappie in there. We'll see how it goes. Otherwise, I'm gonna use that as a cooler in the summer. So that's pretty cool. All right, so again, you know, the Trax running along both gunnels on each side of the boat. They're a little far forward. If you guys notice that, they're a little far forward than I would like. However, I really don't want to move the tow point here. I kind of just want to leave this the way it is and fish with it a couple times and see how this plays out for me. I think even with the down rod situated here, and then maybe like the out rod and the board rod, I think I got plenty of room with that track, but we'll see how that goes. My plan for right now would be to fish, you know, if I'm trolling, obviously sitting at the console, kind of looking at this way this is set up, specifically when I'm by myself. What I like to do is be able to net the fish here and then hang the net off the side of the boat on that tow point. So, you know, we'll see if that cleat works out there for that. But that's kind of my idea, just looking at this. You're kind of, when you're in a boat, you kind of want to like come up with a plan for everything that you want to do. You know, whether that's just netting a fish and figuring out where you're going to work, where your tools are going to be, you know, somewhere in here. I'm going to try to mount something here to, you know, allow me to keep my tools and my bow gun, things like that. You know, boga is one of the things that I just picked up. And again, special thank you to Todd Leopardi for helping me obtain this. This is going to be a really nice tool. And again, this is a 60-pound boga, one of the tools that's going to be in my boat, just to kind of help me, you know, as far as releasing fish, you know, being able to unhook fish in the net, get control of the fish, that sort of thing. So that's a really awesome tool to have, especially when you're fishing for pike and muskie. But as we kind of work around here, you know, I got my fire extinguisher in, I got a cup holder. These Atwood cup holders, I've watched a lot of videos on these. They're kind of cool. They're just real compact and easy to go. I actually use Gorilla Tape on there. I didn't even want to drill them in. I watched a lot of videos with guys doing that. I got a cup holder on this side as well for my passenger. Same deal. You know, if you guys can see that. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I'm thinking here, working out of the back of the boat. And then this is, there's no storage in here. I thought about opening that up and putting some storage in there, but we'll see how that goes. Not sure that I want to cut into that just yet, but looking at the console, not a lot of room on the console. That was one of my concerns. But, you know, when you talk about little gadgets, like these little hypersonic wheels, dude, from an ergonomic standpoint, like this is a really cool thing. They're like 10 bucks on Amazon. You can put them on the steering wheel and it gives your hand a little bit of a break. So that was one thing that I really liked. And then I also put in a cup holder and a little storage, little plastic storage container here. I'm thinking about mounting another one below it and putting my Bluetooth radio. So we'll see how that goes. Not real big on putting a radio in the console. But kind of looking at the console itself as we're sitting down here, one of the things I wanted to do for this Helix unit was get a mount that was going to allow me to use it on this limited space. I will tell you guys, Ram mounts, absolutely phenomenal, dude. Their support was epic. It was just such a very easy process to just take pictures of the console and then kind of tell them what unit I had. You know, I wanted to get that Helix 10, which I'm very thankful to my brother for. He helped me out with that, actually picked that up for the boat. And looking at this Ram mount, like really we drilled the holes. I got like a little aluminum plate. And when I say aluminum plate, it's probably like this size. I picked that up at like Lowe's or Home Depot, like $1. And these aluminum plates, what they'll do is they'll add stability. So up underneath this, I have that plate mounted, which I'll flash a picture of. And I drilled down into the console through the plate, and we used lock nuts and lock washers on there to really stabilize this to the console. So this Ram mount is actually one that has the swing arm. Okay, so this is pretty cool because when you guys loosen this up, you can swing it side to side. And then you can actually take this and swing it side to side. So having that arm on the console, to me, is kind of a big deal, because now what it's going to do is give me a little bit more versatility when I'm talking about mounting, you know, a Helix 10 on here. All right, sorry, the wind's blowing here, but I was able to get that Helix put on just so you guys can see what this looks like. So, man, it's kind of big, but, you know, again, if you're able to adjust this side to side, you know, I have plenty of clearance here with the way the seat sits. I should be able to drive okay and be able to stare at this Helix unit, but it's on there good. Thankfully, I can adjust this a little bit and get it out of the way. But this is going to be a really nice addition to this boat. So one of the things I will say as I talk to people about these electronics, you know, Garmin's doing a lot of good things out there right now. But for me, a lot of the guys I know fish the Helix 10s, and that's what I wanted for my boat. You know, I'm just confident and comfortable with the Helix units. I still got to get this guy wired in, same with the trolling motor, but as you guys can see, progress is being made, and I feel like this is going to be a really good unit for me, particularly with the side imaging. So just to kind of get a look at that, what this looks like, you know, there we are. So that was a lot of fun getting that set up. And I'm really looking forward to using that this year. So, you know, again, I might add some additional storage on the side. We'll see. Cell phone holder, maybe. I don't know yet. We'll see how things play out. But if you want to know more about that RAM mount, that box right there, that is the Marine Electronics swing arm mount with horizontal base. I think the model number is on here. Something like that. So check out RAM mounts. I mean, they're really, really sweet products and good support. All right, so let me just show you guys what else I have here. Not a lot going on, but as far as this compartment goes, I got it's a charger. So this came on board, and that right there is a Cabela's Advanced Angler Pro Series 8 amp. And what this does is it ties into the front of the battery, or the front battery and the back battery, and allows me to charge both, you know, at the same time. Somewhat of a tender as well. I did look that up, but you know, this compartment, I'm going to be able to store my rope in there and just random things like, you know, I got my dry box for my flares and things like that. Any safety PPE required things like your whistle, everything that's required for the state of PA, I have kind of jammed in here, and then a first aid kit, trying to keep that dry as well. You know, these are all things that I've discovered that you need when you have a boat, and man, it was kind of a long process working through that over the last couple months, but that's what I got in the way of storage there. And then we've got two other wells up here. There's my battery for the trolling motor. That's all hooked up and looks good. And then on this side, that's where I got my life jackets, and then paddle and some other things that are just kind of tucked up in there. So not a lot of storage, but it's enough to get me by. Cup holder up here, and again, I got a cubby here that's underneath. And I was talking about that pedal for the trolling motor that Owen gave me, and that's right there. So, you know, kind of simple setup there, but we're working through it. I gotta get, if you guys can see this, so this power right there, I don't know if you can see that or not, that's like a 2-prong. The power cable that came on this is different, so what we got to do is we got to be able to get this spliced with the correct end, which I was able to pick up on Amazon. A lot of this stuff I got from Amazon, and it seems to work out well. So, you know, storage limited, but as long as I can keep the deck clean and not load this thing full of baits, we should be pretty much in good shape here to fish. So those are the two big projects I have left, is to wire in. But yeah, so one of the other things I have here, okay, so the lockable storage, I've got a couple of things in here. I got a dry bag. You know, this was one thing that I wanted to have. I know Joel Morrow, our president of Chapter 16 Muskies Inc., uses a dry bag on the boat, and I can tell you guys that that's really a cool thing to have. And I want to shout out to Joel, because Joel just gave me this awesome hat, and looking at this hat, I don't know if you guys can see that, Joel signed it. So I have probably the only Pittsburgh Steeler beanie in this region that's signed by our president, Joel Morrow. So that's pretty cool. I get a kick out of that. Joel's such an awesome dude. But he also gave me some bumpers too, which I have in the house. They're exactly the same ones I bought. So these are bumpers for the boat. I got 4 of those. Joel just gave me another 2, so I got 6 of them. That'll be for like Deep Creek and some of the bigger lakes, you know, as far as bumpers go. In this compartment, you know, I have my, I actually took that off. That is the transom saver, which I got tucked in there. And I got some troll, and I got my planer boards, which I typically use, the offshores. Those are the small boards. I probably need to upgrade those and get bigger boards. But I got some random stuff in here that I'm going to keep, like some of my more expensive tools and rod holders. Like, for example, what I wanted to show you guys. Okay, so what I wanted to show you guys here is the Fat AZ rod holders. Okay, I see a lot of videos out on YouTube, guys looking at rod holders and such. And for what we do in the muskie world, the Fat AZ rod holders are the absolute best product, or one of the best products out there. And what these do is they slide in, these bases slide into the Traxtex track. Okay, so when I'm looking at this, all you got to do is slide these guys on where you want them and tighten that bad boy down. And I just added this rod leash here for my down rods. Again, Amazon. I think these are Mookie or Moody, whatever they are. They're just relatively stretchable here. So that's cool. So when you lock that bad boy in place, what you can do with these slanteds is you can actually slant them all the way down. The rods go in here, they lock, you can pull them up, you can put them at whatever angle you want them at. So for down rods, they can be straight down. For side rods, you know, you can tip them up a little bit or leave them, you know, kind of parallel, or tip them down into the water, however you want to do it. And then board rods, you know, if you really have these for board rods, you can slant them up that way to get your rod angle up so that the rods are a little bit higher in the air and the boards kind of run off the side of the boat. So these Fat AZ rod holders, I mean, these are like game changers, and everybody I fish with has them. So that's why I wanted these, and they're a little bit expensive, but they're really worth it. They hold up well, and they're going to get the job done from a trolling standpoint. So I'm looking forward to picking up a couple more of these at Muskie Max here in 2 weeks. And I've talked to Andy and the Fat AZ guys about that, but, you know, excited to get at least 2 more slanteds, one for each side for the side rod, and then I'm probably going to get the tubes on the end for the board rods, because I just really like that tube, particularly on this side where I've got that tube is probably going to sit somewhere in here, maybe here. So it's going to be right beside me. I need something that sits up a little bit more vertically, just so the butt of the rod's not hitting the seat. So that's what I want to do there, trying to think through that. But yeah, so yeah, really looking forward to this, getting a spread out there using the Traxtex and the AZ rod holders and the boards and everything else that goes with it. So again, guys, you know, this is my boat. This is what I'm going to be fishing out of. You know, I do think there's a lot of cool things that you can do with these boats. If you wanted to do some kind of net holder scenario, I know my good friend Brian Luffy hooked me up at the Three Rivers Muskies Inc. lure swap last night and got me this like Fraybill net holder. Probably going to put that somewhere in the corner there. We'll see how that plays out. But, you know, another tool that is going to be really important for me is having a good lure retriever. And a lot of the bass like style lure retrievers you guys see at Cabela's, they don't really do well in the musky world. But I can tell you that Frank Alcorn out on Facebook, you guys can find them, where they do the Toothy Fisherman lure retrievers. Just kind of looking at this guy, I've got my line attached to there. I've got the chains. They're real heavy. He makes 2 sizes. This will go down and basically knock your lures loose. It'll hook. The hooks will get caught up on these and you'll be able to get your lures back. This has been a huge lifesaver for me already, just fishing off of like Dan's boat and other boats. You know, it's one of those things that it probably gets lost a lot in translation as far as having a tool like that on the boat. But a good lure retriever, a good boga, one that swivels, you know, like the actual boga grips, and then having like all of your trolling set up and everything, that's a really important aspect to this. And I will say, I don't have it out in the boat right now, but I did buy a lot of decent tools this year too. One of which is the Nip-X hook cutters. I was rolling with the Harbor Freight Doyles. They're good cutters. They really are at a good price. But, you know, for me wanting to take care of these fish and trying to do my best to work on them quickly, especially as a beginner for the first time in my own boat, having the tools like Nip-X and really good long pliers, and just, you know, even like a Baker hook out. Like I bought a Baker hook out this year too. Those are tools that you really can leverage to release these fish cleanly and take care of them, because that's what we want to do. So, you know, I've got a whole tool bag set up. Probably going to keep my tools somewhere in this corner so that when I net the fish, again, hang the bag there, have my tools right here. These rod holders were in here, so I thought about somehow mounting these or putting a magnet on there or something to be able to get my, at least my boga and my pliers and everything else in there. So hopefully that'll work out. One thing I will say, another trick of the trade here for like the bogas, these are super expensive. They're like 285 bucks. You don't want to lose these over the side of the boat. So what I'm going to try to do is work out a situation or a scenario here where I can get a dog leash, like a really high-end dog leash, and somehow attach it to there, and then be able to leave my boga somewhere to where I can just grab it, pull it over, do what I need to do with the fish on a leash so that it extends, it gives me plenty of room to work, but yet if I lose it over the side of the boat, it's not going to go. I'll be able to retrieve it and it'll be good. So that's my plan. I don't know how that's going to work out yet, but you know, on the console real quick, you know, we've got the fuel gauge, and I'm going to probably use Rec 90. I found a couple of gas stations that have like low ethanol or ethanol free gas, so that's what I want to plan on doing. But kind of looking at this, you know, you've got your nav lights, you've got the aerator, your additional lights, and then you've got your bilge. So, you know, there's just very basic functionality with this boat, but owning an Alumacraft Lunker 165, like, that isn't a bad deal. Like, this is a really nice boat, especially for the price that I got it at. And I think this is going to be really, really fun to fish in. And I think I'm going to be able to create a lot of awesome memories, and just for friends and family and things like that. And that's my goal. You know, I want to try to do some of the video stuff. You guys know I haven't been doing a real good job about putting videos out there the last couple of years. You know, part of that was just some of the negativity. The other part of it is people think that I want to do this to be famous, and that's not the point. That's not the case. You know, I just want to do this to have fun and like share my love of fishing with everybody. And you know, now that I have a boat, like, I might be able to learn something here that helps somebody else in the future. So that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm going to try to do and continue to do. You know, we just got to keep going, and I got to get time to be able to put content out there for you guys. But you know, man, I'll tell you, I've gotten a lot of help from a lot of good fishermen, a lot of guys that have owned boats for many, many, many years. You know, just special thanks to everybody that's given me information and helped me in this journey, try to piece this thing together to get it ready to fish here in March. So, you know, I couldn't say enough about those individuals, like the Mark Kings of the world, Keystone King Gliders, you know, even like the Bang and Bottom guys, Joel Morrow, a lot of the friends like the Muskie Hunks I have, the Charlie and the Evans of the world, in our club, everybody that's given me help, you know, and just advice on how to manage this thing. So, you know, I'm looking forward to getting out there and doing some fishing in 2023, and hopefully I can figure it out and put some fish in the boat. Excited to try that. So yeah, I mean, guys, this is it. Again, you know, there she is, bow of the boat, all the way back through to the stern. She ain't much, but she's mine. So hopefully this kind of helps you guys understand where I'm at and what I've been doing. You know, hopefully this is, a lot of guys asked me how it was coming last night, so I thought I would do this. You know, at some point I'll show you guys my release tools and things like that, but for right now, you know, having a bump board in here and having all of those like really awesome release tools, that's going to help me be able to take care of the fish. So we'll do a little segment on that too and kind of talk through that. But yeah, for now, dude, I'm just kind of having fun and enjoying it, and you know, really kind of learning as much as I can about this thing so I can get out there on the water. But yeah, if you guys have any recommendations for me, if you have any, like, just in general, like, thoughts on this Alumacraft or the Lunker, just leave me a comment. Like, shoot me a message on Facebook or Instagram too. Like, I want to hear that stuff. And you know, I'm taking a little bit from everybody I talk to try to meld this into something that's going to really suit the way I fish. So yeah, I mean, if you guys like this video, give it a like. If you guys like this content overall, subscribe to my channel. Again, shoot me a message. Let's go, let's talk fishing. I'm ready to get out there on the water. So yeah, I mean, this tent, I won't get into this too much, but man, I built this myself. We did pavers, if you guys can see that, just to get it out of the yard in the mud. I'm not sure how the heck I'm going to be able to pull this thing out yet, but we'll get there. We'll figure it out. So again, you know, shout out to Big O's Bucktails, my boy Owen, for help with that trolling motor. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have a trolling motor. So you guys, you know, good people like Owen, check his stuff out. Go visit his booth at Muskie Max. He's making good spinner baits, good bucktails, genuinely good human. You know, again, thanks to everybody else that's helped me. Dan Lutton, my good friend Dano, he helped me with a lot of this stuff, getting things mounted and situated. You know, I couldn't do this without guys like that. So super thankful and helpful, and, you know, just appreciate it all the way around. So, all right, guys, we will hopefully see you in soon. If you're going to stop down Muskie Max, give me a shout. And, you know, stop at the Muskie Hunks booth, stop at the Leo Lures booth, stop at the Bang and Bottom booth, the Big O's booth. There's just a lot of good vendors there in general. Every booth in that building is premier. All of the bait makers in that building are premier. It's going to be an awesome show, and I'm really looking forward to it. So, all right. Well, hopefully you guys are out in the water catching fish. I hope to be soon. I guess we'll keep chipping away here. I guess all that's left to say is tight lines. We'll see you next time.